Well, mergers and acquisitions in Africa and the Middle East remain positive for the next 3 years, with the exception of the financial sector in 2018. That's despite the sluggish global growth forecast. And joining us for more on that is Head of Africa at Baker McKenzie, that's Vilde du Plessis. Thank you so much, Vilde, for your time today. Overall, how have M&A deals in Africa and the Middle East performed over the past couple of years?
So I think if one discounts the financial industry sector, where we see there's going to be quite a big downturn, it's performing pretty well. If we look at specific sectors, industrials, quite stable, energy, quite stable. As I said, it's the financial industry, the financial sector that we think will show a very sharp downturn. But we say sharp, it's literally, if you look at the numbers, $29.5 billion in 2017, and we're predicting about $9 billion in 2018.
That is sharp.
So
Why?
it is quite sharp. I think the financial sector is the one that you see very early on the issues about uncertainty in the global economy, political issues, corruption, that sort of thing coming to the fore. And then, of course, we know that the financial industry players have to invest very heavily in technology.
Yes.
So if you look at the technology sector, we see there's almost the quadrupling in size. $1.2 billion in 2017, we're predicting about $6 billion in 2018.
Okay. Do you see that some of that investment in technology being in the financial services sector, so fintech, for example?
Very much so, very much so. So if you look at the financial industry players, by and large, they sort of large conglomerates, large banks, large insurers, and they sit with old legacy systems. They all talk to us about legacy systems that they have to replace, upgrade. These were all systems that were built way before we were talking about AI and fintech and all of that, and they just can't handle that. So the investment into the technology sector by your financial industry is actually quite big.
Let's look at other sectors. There's been a lot of talk about a growing middle class on the African continent, and to a certain extent, the Middle East as well. Are you expecting in the consumer and the retail sector more deal making?
Yeah, I think that drives two sectors. The one is consumer and retail, and if you look at the numbers, 2017 about $2.9 billion. For 2018, we think it could be $6.5 billion. Okay. A lot of that is also driven by investment in brands, investment in technology. The other sector that your rising middle class and your growing middle class would drive is your healthcare. So healthcare, we think, would triple between 2017 and 2018. Up from $1.6 billion in 2017 up to $4 billion in 2018.
Are governments investing in healthcare?
So governments are investing in healthcare, but by and large, if you talk to the healthcare providers, it's also a technology story. What they're saying is, especially for Africa, we need to find other ways, novel ways, of delivering healthcare services to the growing middle class that need it. It's not so much building bricks and mortar, but sort of investing in how do I make my healthcare services and then my pharmaceuticals available.
Talking about bricks and mortar, what about infrastructure?
So Africa, by and large, remains a big infrastructure play. If you break it down on your energy side, we think it'll remain more or less stable, around $4.5 billion next year, and same for your industrials, manufacturing, transport, the other side of the infrastructure. Very stable, but still large numbers, $2.7, $2.8 billion.
Okay. We've been talking a lot about reindustrialization over the past few years, but I wonder how much investment is going into manufacturing capacity.
I don't think enough. I think in South Africa, that's the one thing that we have to really sort of build is our manufacturing capacity. I think with the African story, which still the macros is still there, growing population, growing middle class, manufacturing is one way of harnessing that. Okay,
we were talking about infrastructure a little bit earlier. I wonder how the China's One Belt, One Road initiative, what impact you expect that to have?
On Africa, quite big. But specific countries. The countries that we think would be very relevant there would be sort of along that East African coastline, Kenya, Tanzania, Ethiopia, Djibouti.
Okay.
So that's really where we're going to see quite a big impact, and it will be quite a big change.
Okay. And overall, do you think the deal activity will be driven locally, or will it be foreign investment coming in?
It would be a healthy mix of the two. I think for South Africa specifically, we have seen quite a bit of local activity that's really been keeping the South African market busy. If you look slightly broader into East Africa and even West Africa, a lot of it is foreign investment driven.
Maybe the President's new investment committee will be driving quite a bit.
We can only hope, yes.
So thanks for your time. Today, Head of Africa at Baker McKenzie, Vilde du Plessis.